Hey people. Okay, so it's late. Um, Not sure if anybody's up. It is it is August Thursday, August 17th, 2023. So I know I was live a little while ago with a group of amazing women. But I'm back and I'm live. Okay, people, give me just a moment. I am going live for a specific reason. So I'm very literal, y'all. I'm very literal, meaning that when I read something, I read it for what it says. Now, I do have the ability to read between the lines on things, but I'm very literal. I read, and I read each word carefully to understand its actual meaning. Okay? So why am I live right now? You know, Jerlene, you just went live a few minutes ago. Why are you live again? I'm alive. I am alive, but I'm live because I want to respond to something. So following the meeting, the live conversation that I had about Lincoln Memorial Park Cemetery with three of the women that have been leading the charge in advocacy and getting people to come together to fight for the future of Lincoln Memorial Park. I get off of that and I get in a Zoom call with people from across California and in other states to just share information in a more intimate setting and to give more details of some things that have transpired. And in that call, someone says, hey, I heard that the county supervisors said it's not their legal responsibility to take on the cemetery. Like, what are you talking about? I have not been on social media the last few days. I've not been keeping up with the news, so there's a lot that I have most likely missed. So anyway, right away, I get off, I Google. I Google, and what I come across, where'd it go? I come across this, and I'm going to read this to you all. But as I read it, I'm going to react. But actually, before I do this, let me share this to some folks. Let me share. Wait, how do I do this? Can I invite people from here? I got a different setup. I'm actually in front of my computer, something that I don't. I normally don't do my live right in front of on my computer, but let me share this with some folks right now. Give me just a moment, people, because I'm really about to cut up just a little bit. Okay, let me breathe. Give me just a moment. Just want to send this to some folks so that they can tap in. Okay. All right. I did a little something. Yeah. Okay. So today, according to the timestamp where it came up on media, it may have been beforehand, about 8 hours ago. And again, it may have been before that, but according to the timestamp that I found, Holly Mitchell, Los Angeles County Supervisor, 2nd District, Holly Mitchell released a statement responding to the closure of Lincoln Memorial Park Cemetery. Now I'm going to read this, but before I read this, for folks who have been paying attention, we've been talking about who is going to be ultimately responsible for this cemetery. Last Monday, the owner, Mr. John Mintz, he surrendered his license. So after he surrendered his license, the cemetery became what is considered abandoned. And now that it's abandoned, that means that the state can step in and place it into like a trusteeship for a temporary time until a new owner is found to take care of the cemetery. So what I'm doing is so this is in response to that. So give me just a moment, y'all. I'm still trying to capture my thoughts. I'm still trying to, because what I'm about to read to you, it really, really threw me off. Okay, really threw me off. Okay. Supervisor Mitchell's statement on responding to the closure of Lincoln Memorial Park Cemetery. So, Los Angeles, California, this is a press release. Los Angeles County Supervisor Holly Mitchell provided the following statement in response to the closure of the privately owned Lincoln Memorial Park Cemetery located in the city of Carson. Now, understand, this is the first communication that has come from her office. Quote, worrying about having access to loved ones you have laid to rest is deeply troubling and something no one should have to experience. This is the current challenge many Carson residents are facing due to the owner abandoning Lincoln Memorial Cemetery. I share the concerns of the families and Carson community that are impacted by the closure of this historic and sacred space. My office has been at the table with the State Cemetery and Funeral Bureau, which has the power to administer licensing to a potential new owner and manages the endowment for this cemetery. We are also working with the city of Carson, with this being within its city lines. Okay, I'll break this down, y'all. Problematic, okay? This is the current challenge many Carson residents are facing due to the owner abandoning Lincoln Memorial Cemetery. That is not true, okay? This is not just a Carson issue. I got off a call less than 2 hours ago with people from Downey, Los Angeles, Long Beach, San Bernardino, Riverside, Arizona. I've talked to people in the last few weeks from people from Chino, Texas. I already said Riverside, right? I said Riverside, y'all. Compton. This is not just about Carson residents. This cemetery is bigger than Carson residents. Sorry, y'all. Actually, let me finish reading this whole thing before I go off on a tangent. Let me finish reading it. It is my expectation that the Bureau, City of Carson, and County, we all do all we can that are uniquely positioned to do to help address this issue so this space remains operable and that there is a long-term plan in place. While we are committed to assisting the state and the Carson community in finding immediate answers, including a search for a new owner, I want to uplift the need for a long-term solution in light of the fact that the county is not legally required to assume responsibility for privately owned cemeteries that cease operation within any of its 88 cities that together with our unincorporated communities constitute LA County. This is why I have asked for the county council to look into potential annexation or the creation of a cemetery district. This challenge is magnified by the need for a system that allows for privately owned cemeteries to change owners without jeopardizing access to the cemetery for the larger community. My office will remain committed to working with all the stakeholders involved in identifying solutions that honor the sacredness of the deeply personal and historic space. Now, what I've just read, I know y'all can't really see this here, but what I just read, it was a statement from Supervisor Mitchell's statement responding to the closure of Lincoln Memorial Park Cemetery. First of all, let me tell you what this statement says. This statement says that her staff did not do their homework, okay? Did not do their homework. Yes, I'm yelling. I'm in my house. I could do that. They did not do their homework. That's what this statement says, first of all. So now, let's go back through it. This is the current challenge many Carson residents are facing due to the owner abandoning Lincoln Memorial Cemetery. I have to say, y'all, the one thing that I've met least of in this whole 3 weeks of being part of this process are Carson residents. I've met Compton, LA, Long Beach, Riverside, Chino, San Bernardino, Texas, Arizona, San Diego residents. Okay? My expectation, the city of Carson and county due position, long-term plan. Have anyone in her office read AB 651? Where is it? Where is it? Where is this? Where is it? Where is it? Where did I just miss I just missed the part where, wait, I got to reread another part. Give me a moment, y'all. The county, I want to uplift the need for a long-term solution in light of the fact that the county is not legally required to assume responsibility for privately owned cemeteries. Did anyone in her office read the legislation, AB 651, that says in the case of an emergency, break this glass, and a city or county becomes responsible for making sure that the maintenance and upkeep of a cemetery takes place? I have asked the county council to look into potential annexation or the creation of a cemetery district. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? This challenge has magnified the need for a system that allows for privately owned cemetery owners to change ownership without jeopardizing access. I was informed that the gentleman that owned the cemetery was seeking out new ownership last year. He went to the state. He went to the cemetery, the Bureau of Cemetery and Funerals, and asked for assistance last year. What the freaking frack is this talking about, people? This is a county supervisor. Now, people are like, well, why are your draws in a bunch, Jerlene? I've talked to staff in her office, people. I have drafted up the emails that have been sent to her office. I have sent all the information of the people in which they need to contact to be able to get information of what's happening on the ground level at the cemetery. I sent that email. And in it listed the names of the women who have been out there every day at that cemetery, who've been opening and closing that gate, who's been educating the community on the legislation that's supposed to be in place that it seems that none of our political elects even have a freaking clue about, including the persons that authored it. It's actually shameful that neither Bradford or Gibson, who were part of the development of AB 651, that don't have a freaking clue about it, or their staff, or how to implement it. Okay, of course, this is the first time this has happened. Yes and no. When Woodlawn was in trouble, it's because of what happened in Woodlawn in Compton that there was legislation created just in case something like this happened again. Now, the possibility of it happening at a cemetery across the street, I'm sure nobody planned for that, right? I'm sure nobody was like, you know what, the cemetery across the street's gonna need this. I'm sure that was not the mindset that happened. And I don't know anything about any other cemeteries. I heard that there's other cemeteries that have had some similar issues. They probably ain't got people fighting for them like this one. But reading this is infuriating. I know more about what's supposed to take place, and I just stepped into this game 3 weeks ago looking for my mama. So if I just stepped into this 3 weeks ago looking for my mama, I could have written a better press release about this. But the part that really gets me, though, in light of the fact that the county is not legally required to assume responsibility for privately owned cemeteries, according to the legislation, you can be. All right. And then, so if you go back, I made a statement before talking about Carson, the city of Carson. Well, the city of Carson, in no disrespect to that city council or whatever, but they've made it very clear they don't want nothing to do with it. You know how far they made it clear they don't want anything to do with it? They're still in denial that it's even Carson. They're still in denial that it's even Carson. They're still trying to claim that it's Compton. You know why? Because they don't want anything to do with it. And I can tell you the people in Compton don't want anything to do. Well, at least the person I spoke to made it very clear that the head of Compton made it very clear that it wasn't her problem. So now you got the county saying we ain't legally responsible. You got the city of Carson to say, screw this, it ain't even our city. You got Compton is like, it ain't our problem. So what are the people supposed to do? Oh, legislation was written. But the part that really gets me, and I've been saying this repeatedly, this is not just about Carson. It wasn't the people of Carson that came out and said that there was something wrong with this cemetery. It was people from Inglewood. It was people from LA. It was people from Buena Park. It was people from Compton. It was people from Long Beach that came out and said there's an issue. And the reason the county is regional. The county not only has a city of Carson. I'm not sure what cities are encompassed under Holly Mitchell's area. I don't know, but I'm going to find out when I get off with y'all, right? I'm still just baffled. So I just wanted to go live and I wanted to read this mess. I will drop this in. I don't know who wrote this. Shame on Holly Mitchell's office. Absolutely shameful. Absolutely shameful and a slap in the face. Absolutely shameful and a slap in the face. And this is the part that gets it. These are black people. These are black people that are advocating for a cemetery that's got black people and black bodies in it. And people want to bitch and complain about what's happening in Florida and what's happening in Texas and an erasure of black culture and erasure of black people. And we got black people in the state of California that are doing the same damn thing to black people. Bradford, black. Gibson, black. Hilton, black. Lula, I don't know her last name, of Carson, black. Sharif, black. Holly Mitchell, black. These are all black politicians, and the way that they treat black people and black bodies is they just have a complete disregard for them. Unbelievable. And I probably need to get offline before my neighbors think they need to call the police on me for up in here yelling and screaming the way I am. But I'm hot. And I'm disappointed. You all. There is nothing to me in my life that is more painful than to hear the cries of a mother. I have heard more moms cry in the last few weeks than I think I've heard moms cry in years combined. Mothers, black mothers. And you want to talk about how black people matter and black history matters? You know who creates black history? You know who creates black life? Black women, black mothers. And it's shameful that our black politicians have no regard for those that are living, has no regard for those that are living and that want to be able to mourn and grieve for their loved ones. I'm hot. Anyone who knows me, I'm like, when it comes like grammar and writing, how sensitive I am about it. The fact that this shit is half-ass baked makes me mad. Shame on all of you. Gibson, Bradford. Now I'm not gonna slam the brother Hilton. I'm not gonna slam him. You know why? Because the brother Hilton did come through. The brother Hilton came out there, stood in the dark, in the freaking weeds with us to get the water on. And you don't know how gross them weeds were until you walked off with all the stuff attached to the bottom of your pants. So I'm not gonna bash Hilton. Thank you, Hilton, for listening. Thank you for educating yourself, because even when we first approached you, Hilton, he didn't have all the information. But let me tell you, the brother got it. But we have a county supervisor whose staff won't even do their homework. I'm a layperson. I'm a layperson out here in this community, this politics, and I know more than going on and they do, and it's infuriating. Anyway, I just needed to go live to be able to share that. Y'all can tag them. Y'all can share this however y'all feel the need to. I'm going to download it. I'll put it on YouTube. Please make sure this gets to the people that needs to get to. And tomorrow night, when y'all show up at that town hall meeting, y'all need to raise the roof up. I know it's a church, but y'all need to call in the Holy Spirit and everybody else that y'all need to be up in there. Y'all need to raise the roof about that place. And if those politicians aren't listening to what y'all gotta say, and if they're up there pontificating about how wonderful and how great they are, how patting themselves on the back and everything, get up and walk out. Oh, something else. The word on the street is that Senator Bradford is connected to the dude, Mark McKay, the guy who wants to take over the cemetery, who's already told people that he ain't gonna do nothing with it and he's gonna restrict the hours and access to it. So somebody needs to look into that. Like I said, that's third party. I ain't got the information, but the word on the street is that. So y'all need to pay attention to the politics that are going on in this, because now this cemetery has become a political widget. I'm offended. I just want to be able to find out where my mama's located right now at this point. And if I could, I'd get her up out of there and I'd put her somewhere else. Good night, people. It's August 17th. Jerlene, I'm hot. I'm gonna go woosah. Good night, people.